A little yellow light. There it is. It's
There
on.
it is.
Hey, internet friends. MagicBrad here. I'm on location at Medea's Espresso and Juice Bar today. Instead of at my home office and world headquarters, I decided I didn't want to be tethered to the office, and I decided to get out. So that's what I'm doing. And we are continuing talking about meditation today, and I have my friend Damon Dickinson. Are you there, Damon?
Good morning, Magic Brad. I am indeed.
Yay! Today we're talking about what are the signs of progress on meditation. So, kind of like what we talked a little about yesterday, but this is like, what are those signs? What are those goalposts or those milestones or that feeling of the benchmarks, the feelings of progress when you're meditating? How do you know you're getting better?
Yeah. Well, first thing that I would say is that we're actually starting to enjoy and look forward to our meditation time and period and practice. That's a really good sign. Then, similar to what we did mention yesterday, that we're feeling more centered, more present in our day-to-day and moment-to-moment experience, and just a deeper sense of peace about the circumstances in our lives. Can you hear me, Brad? Because I'm not getting any feedback that I can hear. Okay.
Yes, it's kind of noisy in this juice bar, so I'm muting myself.
Oh, got it. So maybe that's why I'm not hearing the feedback. Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And so, as we continue to meditate, becoming more present, things can happen from day to day, whether we're driving from place to place or unforeseen circumstances, surprises happen. And I just find that quite often, even though I may still have an emotional reaction, it's much less than it ever was before. And I become more present more quickly to it. Like, I notice it. Instead of me being like immersed in it, I can actually kind of observe and see and realize, hey, I'm getting really upset about this, and this is not feeling good, and I really enjoy how I feel when I'm centered and present and in my heart. I choose to feel more like being in my heart and being peaceful. So I'm making a new choice much more quickly to be in a more peaceful place based on that contrast. And I actually notice I'm much more sensitive to being stressed, being in my head, being in negativity. I can't tolerate it, like I used to. Very sensitive to it. So,
I suppose too, then, as you I'll say escalate to the next level, but I kind of don't like to think of steps. I kind of think of like more of a graduation of phases.
yes.
But as you go to the next level or area, I suppose you're starting to learn how to not be stressed, and now, of course, you're more comfortable. So you're going to start bringing in other types of situations which might make you stressed again, but that means that you're actually growing. Okay?
Yes, and there's no straight line to it. In any graph in an organic, natural world, in our experience, it's going to have a wavelength to it. So there's ups and downs that are still happening. I do believe as we do continue to progress over longer periods of time, that those ups and downs become less and less. At least in an ideal world, an idea. And sometimes within ourselves, it's not always easy to see the differences. Quite often it's friends and family and people, and some that actually haven't seen me for a while go, wow, Damon, something's really different about you. You're much more peaceful. And I'm like, really? Am I? It's like, yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it within you. I can see it. So a lot of times it's more observable from the outside than it always is from the inside. And yet, yeah, I do. And there's also this piece of just having a deeper sense of safety and security within myself, that the world and the universe is actually benign and friendly to me, and just a trusting in the world. And this is just because of, especially from my, excuse me a minute, my phone's ringing. Should have put that on hold. Excuse me, sorry. I part of my open heart practice and the heart-based practice is also developing a deeper, more intimate relationship with the Creator, the source of all life and love. And so as I continue to progress, I can tell by my heart's attitude towards the Creator and my understanding and the intimate connection that I have, how much I'm really loved and cared for. And that carries through in my world too, not only in a sense of peace and happiness, but bringing more of a childlike quality to my life and to my day, and to also bring in more creativity and more joy and more trust in taking risks in life, in the sense of moving out into things that my heart are guiding me to do, you know. And so those are all big pieces of progressing, you know, that we're moving into the life that we choose, more consciousness.
Is there like a charting type system or something that a person could use to see their progression? Because I know that sometimes you, again, if you don't measure it, you know, SMART goals and all that kind of thing, if you don't measure it, you might not really know if you're progressing, even though you are. I mean, that happens like we're both in the martial arts. When you first start as a white belt, and then all of a sudden you get your gold belt, and then you get your green belt, you see the progress. But then when you get into your purple belts, it's more like 6 months. You don't see any progress because you don't get that new reward, although you are progressing. Because it's a longer duration, you don't notice it. So is there a system, like a charting system or something a person could do, maybe writing it, well, maybe journaling or blogging? You could do your daily blogs and check back to see how things are progressing.
It's an excellent suggestion, Brad. I have not been very disciplined with like charting from day to day, but certainly, and I do recommend, and I do a lot of journaling. It does help, and it really helps to show me that there are cycles, there are ups and downs, and they're going to come and go. I guess, if you know, a lot of times I haven't reviewed my journals from one year to the next because they're quite full. But I bet if you did look back, you could see a progression over time. I can feel it. I think the simplest way, and one of the coaching techniques that I do use, and it's interesting that you're bringing this up, because this could be a chart or a tool that could be created, where you just, at the very top, you could check in and say, you know, on a scale of 1 to 10, my mental clarity today, or my mental, you know, is on, you know, you can scale it from 1 to 10, where 1 is terrible, you know, I'm just completely in negativity and I'm confused and overwhelmed, and 10 is I'm just like no thought whatsoever, you know, I'm just fully in my heart. And you could do that for your emotions, you could do that for your heart as well, and just have a little 1 to 10 so that you could see that rating, and then have a journal space underneath it to kind of fill in the details. So that's a great suggestion. Maybe that's something we can work on.
Yeah, I think now that concept is cool, and that you could do your daily charting, and then also do your, like, how were you last week on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you think you were last week, and how are you this week? And that way you get something to measure to. You can even go into the months. Like, how were you last month?
Yeah, and you know, doing like a 1 to 10 scale really does help quantify it. So even more than a journal, which can be very detailed, you can just have those numbers and you can see them.
Exactly. Well, we sort of answered that question. How do you know if you're progressing? Well, you chart it. That's one way of doing it. Just put pennies in a jar or something.
The scientific method.
That's right. And you could just, you'd have to measure your, I feel really good today, so I'll give that some ratings. So that's just it. The brain and the heart have to work together.
Yeah, because, I mean, we do have a brain and a heart. They're both gifts. They're both there to help us. So absolutely.
I unmuted myself here. Okay, let's wrap this bad boy up. This is MagicBrad with SynergyCafe, Synergy Collaborative, Synergy 7, Synergy, and Damon Dickinson. Damon, thanks again for taking the time. I know it's you got a lot of stuff going on, so appreciate you taking the time to do this.
Thanks, Brother Brad. It's been a lot of fun. I'm enjoying answering these questions as we go through, and you're giving me some great ideas too. So,
peace. Namaste.
Peace.